Now, this is an important video, and I really appreciate the honesty behind this. And it goes like this: I'm up to 2 bottles of wine and a 6 pack daily. I want out. Do you recommend going cold turkey or cutting back slowly? And this really comes up with how society, how society deals with an alcoholic, because the choices are this: if you go cold turkey and you do it by yourself in your own home, you're going to deal with dry heaves. You're going to deal with, the shakes. You could have a stroke. You could have a heart attack. It's so much stress on the body. Your body's dehydrated. It's incredible stress on not just the heart, pancreas, intestinal tract, and just your overall well-being. It's incredibly difficult to go through. My wife used to go through it for 3 days, especially if you've been drinking for a long period of time. Something I definitely do not recommend. So what's the next thing you should do? Well, go to the emergency room, or sometimes I had to call 911 for my wife, for example. And the thing is, then you got to deal with the judgment of sometimes hospital personnel or emergency staff or staff at the hospital. And you have to deal with that. What's this person doing? They're obviously not taking care of their health, and they're drinking themselves into oblivion. They might give you medications, but it's not going to be a touchy-feely good experience for anybody going through this kind of thing. And the thing is, you're trying to get better, and yet everybody's kind of just making you feel worse with their judgment. And this is why the disease gets pushed underneath the rug. This is why you have this 25-ton elephant in the room, and nobody wants to talk about it because nobody knows how to deal with it, and yet they just want to face their own reactions, which is to judge people and to downplay that person when they need it the most in their life. And then, of course, the other option is, should I just cut back? Instead of drinking that 24 case of beer, should I cut it down to 12 or 6 and then slowly, put it into non-existence? Is that the way I should go? Which is kind of what's called the Sinclair method, which is, slowly cutting back and then taking naltrexone, which is a medication that helps curb the cravings for alcohol, which has, it's had a lot of success rate. But in my opinion, that might be good for people in the earlier stages, because certainly in the later stages, if you've been drinking for decades, cutting back is really, in my opinion, is really a fantasy. It's not something that's going to take place when you're chemically, emotionally, physically addicted, when it's become part of your personality. Cutting back, good luck with that. Honestly. And on top of that, do you really think you want your as a family member looking at your alcoholic, do you really think they're going to cut back and to be organized in the situation, even with naltrexone? I always say use those medications to cut back. But it just depends on what level of addiction you're at. And this particular person, if you're drinking 2 bottles of wine and a 6 pack daily, you're a pretty hardcore alcoholic. To be honest, if you're being honest and I'm being honest back, I would definitely recommend going to a professional detox and a rehab facility to follow that any way you can. Fine. If you don't have insurance, get some insurance. These are what I need to tell you, or just pay for the detox itself. But you should go through a professional detox, because they can give you things like Valium. It's easier to come down. My wife used to go to rehabs, and her biggest incentive to go to the rehab is because she could go to a detox first without having to go through the incredible stress on the body through dry heaving and throwing up, and just constant stress on the heart and lungs and everything else that has to do with your body. So it's important. Professional detox would be my first choice. And to be honest with you, I think it's a sad state of affairs where we have to drive people into the ground who have a mental health illness called alcohol use disorder, and we have to drive them into professional detoxes, or they have to take care of it on their own because of the judgment from professional staff and from society itself. This is why nobody wants to talk about it, because if you have an issue, it's a stigma on not just the person but the family. And these are types of things that need to change, because it's a serious health issue and it affects everybody. It's a family disease, and it affects not just only the alcoholic, it affects everybody in their circle. It affects their entire family. And quite often, family are not drug and alcohol treatment centers, okay? They don't know particularly what to do. So I mean, I hope this video helps. Go to Professional Detox. That would be my first choice. If you're in the earlier stages of alcohol use disorder, or if you've just kind of created a habit, maybe use the Sinclair method with naltrexone. Either way, use naltrexone either way as a tool to curb the problem and to get it into sustainable sobriety. And again, I have a complete coaching program. If you follow me, link is in the bio. Set up a Zoom call. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. We do a deep dive into what's going on with you and your family. Okay, the call is free. The course, definitely not. It's designed to educate the family, and then we do 9 weeks one-on-one coaching with the alcoholic and any family member who wants to be involved in the situation. We also have the Facebook group. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family, and I go live every night right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right on TikTok. And again, thanks so much for listening.